In Asia, shares closed lower today as China reported a slew of economic data that missed expectations, deepening worries about headwinds facing the world's second largest economy. Greater China markets fell with Shanghai Composite ending the day 1.53%, Shenzhen Composite closed 2.46%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index declined 1.56%. Australia's market also fell as the ASX 200 declined 1.05%. Other Asian markets were also in negative territory. South Korea's Kospi slipped 1.25%. Over in Japan, the Nikkei 225 declined by 2.02%. And the U.S. stock futures were under pressure early on Friday as trade optimism continued to fizzle out and investors focused on a batch of weaker than expected economic data out of China, sparking fresh worries about the state of the world's second biggest economy. Dow Jones Industrial Average futures fell 253 points, while S&P 500 futures dropped 25.90 points. Nasdaq futures fell 86.75 points. And back here in Africa, the Intra-African Trade Fair continues today in Cairo, Egypt, and participants at the event have been discussing issues around ease of doing business in Africa. Well, our own Channels TV business editor, Bosun Omofa, is on ground at the fair, and he's joining us now to give us an update on the event out there. Good afternoon, Bosun. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a good time there.
Yes, I'm supposed to be having some good time, Chimeze, but you are denying me the opportunity to have a good time because Didier Drogba is in the building.
Oh,
He's here, the Ivorian football superstar, and he's upstairs in the cinema hall, and he's having a session. So everybody's left me here to do this crossover with you because the panel where he was brought in here is to how do we get African youths to move from just being football stars to become business executives? So we're mixing business with pleasure here in Cairo, Egypt. And Didier Drogba is here. We just have to do this very quickly because I have a lifetime opportunity of seeing Didier Drogba in flesh and blood. So let's go on.
Too long. Well, talking about Didier Drogba there and what he's discussing about youths. Well, today is ease of doing business. Participants there have to do ease of doing business. That if the youths would have to come into business, then the African government would have to devise a way to make the business environment quite friendly for them to do that. So what are their concerns in this area and what possible solutions are they suggesting towards achieving a better ease of doing business?
No, you're very correct, Chimeze. And one of the session we had about an hour or two ago is about digital economy, digital transformation, infrastructure for ICT, information communication technology. And it talks also to the youth, the huge population in Africa, and how to onboard them on this new economy, which is now not just about economy, but rewriting the DNA of African economy, using intra-Africa trade, using technology. What are the new developments? What are the issues around access? What are issues around infrastructure? How do we fund it? About the gateway that we need to use. All of these are coming into the conversation today, but also it's discussion around infrastructure for transport sector in Africa, as well as the energy sector. Those are the key issues around the panel and the conference for this Friday as we begin to wrap this up over the next 2 days. So you're very correct. You have a very a place here in the entire thing. Last night, Nigeria stood very proud here with a very grand dinner with a Two-Face, Idibia, and Alibaba, and others who were here last night. So it's all about not just the regular stock market you and I talk about every day, achievements about Frankfurt or Lagos, whatever the changes were, but to let Africa know that there are a lot of opportunities in entertainment, in Nollywood, in creative arts industry, and those areas where the huge African youth population will be able to be part of this big intra-Africa trade.
Bosun, I think I will have to let you go now, continue with that fun there, and of course, bring a lot of information for us from that event. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. Now, South Africa's foreign direct investment inflows fell by $209.6 million in the third quarter of 2018 as foreign firms sent less money to local subsidiaries. And the central bank's quarterly bulletin, direct investment liability fell to 27.9 billion rand from 31.6 billion, while portfolio investments rose to 17.9 billion rand from 16.6 billion in the months from July to September. Now, since replacing Jacob Zuma as president in February, Cyril Ramaphosa has vowed to up foreign investment to kickstart an economy that only recently climbed out of a recession triggered largely by low business confidence linked to policy uncertainty. And the Central Bank of Namibia has reduced the country's gross domestic product growth predictions for 2018 and 2019. The bank also expects the economy to contract by 0.2% in 2018, followed by a 1.5% growth in 2019, down from the 1.9% predicted earlier. It attributes the contraction to weaker performances in the retail, real estate, and hospitality sectors. And the Nigerian government has filed a $1.1 billion lawsuit against Royal Dutch Shell and Eni in a commercial court in London in relation to a 2011 oil field deal. The OPL 245 oil field is at the heart of an ongoing corruption trial in Milan, in which former and current Shell and Eni officials are on the bench. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do a crossover to the Nigerian Stock Exchange for today's market update. Do stay with us.